Welcome down, everyone, to another episode of Those Nerds You Know. My name is Ethan.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Scott.
And we are Those Nerds You Know.
Sorry, for some reason I never know which.
No, that's because we literally
who
never
should go next.
We never practice that or say that before we go in. We just go in.
I usually go last because I've always
out.
been kind of like the last guy or the guest. But since there's also a guest here, it's different.
Yeah.
Yep, and I'm always first, so that's easy. I just hope the rest of you figure it out. But yes, we do have a lovely guest with us here this week, our good friend Nick Brady, friend of the show.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
It's
me.
been a while.
Yeah, I was talking about Scott. We're all guests this week because we haven't done this in a while.
Yes, we have.
We've been on a smidge of a hiatus again. I think I've mentioned that already in a episode that went live, but work's been nuts lately, so I've just been not recording things. Apologies all. We're also going through a bit of a change or renaissance. We're looking at our formula again and our format again and seeing if there's anything we can shake up and change, and so look out for that. This episode won't be too different from what you are familiar with, but in the future we may have some other things or bring back some old stuff from our previous format.
I feel like the changes are going to happen very soon now that my exams are done for me and I'm getting ready to the end of school. So, great. I can focus on things that aren't school.
That's good.
Yeah.
I also won't be here to record next week, so maybe we'll do that this weekend.
Me and Nick will do it. Why not?
Yeah.
Sure. I'm A-okay with that, actually. Anyways, here today we are here for you lovely listeners with a great topic of the best-selling movie ever, basically. Marvel's Avengers Endgame dropped.
Ba, 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 ba.
Dropped last week. And, man, it was good. Anyway, it made it made 1.2 billion in the first weekend.
Globally.
Globally,
Yeah,
yes.
globally.
Yes.
It dropped everywhere at the same time and made over $1 billion.
That's crazy.
Weekend. It's stupid.
And just domestic, it made 350 million, which beat the old holder, which was Infinity War, which was 258 million or something.
This thing has crushed stuff, and I'm just like, what? I don't like.
It's nuts.
It's crazy. My gosh.
Just looking here, so I just pulled up Box Office Mojo, and I'm not quite sure how accurate these numbers are, but the domestic value as of right now is over almost 500 million, and the foreign is 1.6 billion.
Wow.
So they're probably going to get to 2 billion.
What if it gets to 2 billion? I'm so nuts.
I'm so excited for it to beat Avatar.
Yeah,
so
I really want it to beat Avatar so bad.
Yeah.
What's that mark? Where was Avatar?
Avatar's at 3.7.
It made 3.7
No,
billion?
No,
It's
I'm
2
sorry.
point something now.
2.
Okay. That's ungodly. Okay. That makes more sense. It's like...
Yeah, Avatar box
It is
office
absurd
was
to me that-
2.7 billion.
That's right.
It is absurd to me that is that still the record? Is it still the highest?
Yeah, that's still the highest. Right above Titanic, which is 2.1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
It blows my mind that things like Star Wars has come back, and other events like the end of the Harry Potter thing, and all of that has happened since Avatar, and still hasn't touched it. I hope this crushes it.
Yeah.
I hope. Oh,
The
man.
closest ones that have gotten there was Force Awakens, the Star Wars Force Awakens, and then Infinity War right below it.
Gosh. Well,
I definitely feel like this one is going to challenge that
let's
spot.
do it, man. Holy crap.
It'll definitely get there. It'll definitely get there faster than the other ones for sure, because at this pace, it's going to get to 2 billion in no time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna see it again. So
I definitely will see it again as well. This movie was so good.
it was.
Spoiler alert!
Really
It was good.
It was great, and I just love that there was nothing. I didn't listen to any predictions or anything like that. I don't like that, and I just wasn't. I went into it pretty blind to stuff, and I loved that. I was unable to predict a lot of the things that were happening in this movie. Also, I think so normally we just walk through the movie. I think that would be a bit much for this film, as it is a 3-hour long film.
Okay.
but I'm cool with talking about our favorite points, I guess, chronologically as best we can, moving forward through it.
Sure.
Okay.
I've got some notes.
But yeah, oof. So many twists and turns and fun bits. Some stuff that I liked, some stuff that I loved, some stuff that I'm like, meh. But yeah, it was. Whew.
And there's also some stuff that, if you think about it, doesn't make sense, but it was so good that you're just like, nah, it's still fine.
Yeah.
There's portions of this movie that definitely run on the rule of cool. For sure.
Well, there's a lot of. There's a lot of things in the Marvel Universe, if you stop and think too long, it just doesn't work. But I think one of the joys and strengths of the Marvel Universe is that the rest of the stuff is good enough to overcome that, typically, with a couple of exceptions. But yeah. Man. It's good. I liked it a lot. Anyways.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
What do we like in the beginning? Before the time skip, what was cool? Spoiler alert, there's a time skip.
Yeah.
Blew my mind.
Before the time skip, it was so it had the coldest opening I've ever seen in a movie. Period. I mean, it's not even just like a Marvel movie, but like any movie ever. Like that first scene with Hawkeye and his family, I thought it was the trailer giving it. I thought they were giving us the trailer again, and I was like, "What the heck? I'm watching this movie. Like, you don't need a trailer." And it was like, "No, oh wait, this is it. This is the movie. We're in it. This is the hardship," and you just start to see that kind of step by step sadness. Pool and like there was audible like gasps in the audience and people were like,
for real,
Hawkeye's family, or oh no.
Yeah.
Our audience was into it, which I think was cool. Oh man,
our audience was so into it. I mean, I've never seen an audience cheer and clap.
You've never been to a Star Wars premiere, apparently. When I saw The Force Awakens, I saw it like night of with a full theater, and yeah. People legitimately clapped in the theater.
Yeah, they clapped
when the freaking Falcon showed up for the first time. People lost their minds.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Ugh.
So really quick, this is a spoiler review, right?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. We don't worry about spoiler free.
All right, good.
None of that.
The beginning was a very good refresher of like what happened in Infinity War, because Hawkeye's family got dusted and. Oddly enough, like even though we haven't seen him, for a while, Hawkeye, we haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah.
When that happens, it's still like very emotional because it just brings back the pain of like what we saw in Infinity War. So they did a very good job with that.
Yeah, I think Hallmark and the triumph of the cinematic universe for Marvel has been connecting us with characters and getting us to care about characters. Even though Hawkeye doesn't have his own movie, you know what I mean? He was introduced in frickin' Thor, the first one, which I hate. But like, he's a character that we love and that we've seen grow and change and instantly connect with and care about. You know
both Hawkeye and Black Widow, they had like amazing character arcs in this movie, and like. You're right. They don't have their own movie. They haven't really had much change in their characters besides, I guess, Hawkeye. We see his family and everything, and that's like, oh, he's a dad, great, awesome. But like this movie really kind of solidified who they were and helped us feel more for them. Like I legitimately was kind of like tearing up seeing his family, and like then again when we see him as Ronin and everything, and I'm like, yeah, you kill those triads, man. You put them down, dude.
Right.
Nah, it's cool. That's another thing that the time skip helped was like his change. But yeah, man, like
I honestly don't like his hair. I hate his hair so much.
His little mohawk thing.
I don't mind it.
The
little bit of a mullet was a problem, but
he's like, I'm super depressed, but I still have time to really comb my hair and put product in it, make it look
I'm gonna
good.
get an edgy haircut so I can show you how sad I am.
You see him like embrace his wife and everything, but like I feel like if it was me and like I was embracing my wife after that, no matter how long a distance we were from each other or how much of a time that affected us with the snap, if she saw me with that hair, she'd be like, "What the heck did you do to yourself?" Like all this aside though, like you need to cut that.
Right.
Nah, you just gotta have enough confidence, Scott. You just gotta rock it.
My gosh.
I loved it when they found Thanos on the planet.
Ooh, yeah.
Like
Ooh, yeah.
it was just great. Like the beginning of the movie was so good, just to set the
know.
tone of
It
like
really was.
everything.
When freaking when Thor just like cuts his head off, like
Yeah.
just gets
Doesn't
him.
even
I was
react.
like, yes,
He's super pissed.
yes. I was so happy with that. And then
I
like
went
it
for the head.
faded
Oh,
to
man.
black, and I was like, yeah, roll credits, done. And then but when the 5 years later when that came up,
Yeah.
like audible gasps in the like I was like, what?
I
What?
can hear people
What?
reading it out loud. Like 5 years?
It I loved that. I love moments like that in a movie where like it wasn't spoiled. There was no way you were gonna know it going in.
No way. This
and it
wasn't
just
from the
happens.
Okay, from
it
someone who's
I'm
read
just
this,
like,
this was not in the comics. Okay, there's no way
That's
this happened in the
fine.
comics.
I was just like, holy crap! How are they gonna go 5 years? Like, because it fills me with so many emotions. I'm like, there's so much we could have missed. What has happened?
Mm-hmm.
It was a really cool way of getting us to sort of rediscover characters and things of that nature, and to let the loss really sink in and let the effect of Thanos's presence and snap really, really just sink into the universe.
It kind of solidified like a level of permanence.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's, I feel like if it was just like 5 months or maybe even just a year, that like when we had this moment where they got to call the Avengers back, they'd be like, yeah, sure, why not? You know, I haven't really had time to cope with this, but let's go. But like, because it's been so long, they're like, if nothing's changed by now, it's not going to change. It's 5 years. Like,
Yeah.
5 years is a long time, guys.
It is.
And man, like Tony in the beginning of the movie,
Oh gosh.
he was heartbreaking. Like he was, oh man, he's all skinny and thin and like just so
They
upset.
had to have done like some CG or something to make him look
Oh.
bony or whatever. He
Oh,
looked
for sure.
rough.
No, it was a marionette. They just put his head on a puppet.
Right?
There's a mannequin. They just
yes.
wrapped it in a robe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, look, there was no quips, there was no gripes. There was just, you screwed up, we all lost. I'm going home to my wife. Bye. And like, it was just sad.
His journey in this movie is crazy, and I like his character a whole lot, and we can talk more about it when we get to it. But it's just like not as happy with his ending. But man.
What happened next? Is that
I
when
think we come into we see
Ant-Man?
No, it's not immediate.
yet.
At first, we like essentially check in to see what everybody's been doing. Like Captain America's at like a support group meeting, with the guys talking about going on a date, yada yada yada, and we see that like some of the other heroes are reporting to Black Widow, sort of
Yeah, I guess Black Widow's like the director now or something.
taking care of stuff. Yeah, I guess she's more or less taking over for Nick Fury, which is fine.
Yeah, and Captain Marvel got a sweet new haircut.
Yep.
Yep.
Looking
I liked
good,
that.
looking fly.
Yeah, I did too. I thought she looked really good.
Hmm.
Very good haircut.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, so then that stuff happens.
yeah,
did anything
so- okay.
significant happen after, like, before
I don't think
Ant-Man
anything
shows up?
significant happened before Ant-Man showed up. So, like, also, when Ant-Man shows up, I've heard several people say that they think the rat was what caused him to come out. I don't think it was. I think the rat was just there. Anyway, we come into a storage unit, and the van is there with all the equipment that sent Ant-Man into the quantum realm, and there's a rat crawling around on the dashboard, and then it opens up and shoots Ant-Man out of the quantum realm. I just assumed that he had either gotten out or accidentally got shot out, and the rat just happened to be there. I don't know. Opinions, thoughts?
For me, I thought the rat, like, touched a switch or something to...
Yeah.
to bring him back out.
He walked across the dashboard or whatever. So there, I've seen a lot of mixed reviews about it. Honestly, I loved it because it fits Ant-Man so well. Like, because not only does, well, at least Scott Lang, like Hank Pym, he's a whole different story. But when it comes to Scott Lang, like Scott Lang's not a good hero, right?
Yeah.
Like he's a good hero, like he's a good guy, but like he's not a great
guy.
He's a great guy, but he's not a good.
Take that back.
He's not very trained, and a lot of things that happen that go well for him is usually luck based. And I think this was just like this was a little bit of Scott Lang's luck coming out. Because only Scott Lang would be able to survive the quantum realm and come back 5 hours later or whatever because a rat walked across his dashboard. Like that doesn't happen besides to him, I guess.
Okay, yeah. I can get behind that. That makes sense.
But I do like the memes of people saying that like the rat's like the greatest Avenger or whatever, or like
right.
Like I get it, but at the same time I didn't see it as that. I just thought it was like, oh yeah, Scott Lang, he's a very lucky guy. Like the whole second movie, like Ant-Man and the Wasp was like, you should have died there, my friend. Like you would not have survived. Like even like the first scene when you see him playing with his kid or whatever, rolling down the stairs, and I'm like, as well crafted as that possibly was, you went through that wall, my friend. You were gonna break something. Like,
I think if we're being nitpicky about Ant-Man, there's a lot of other people we could be nitpicky about as well.
True.
Most of any of the normal humans in this cinematic universe should probably have died several times over.
Yeah. Namely Hawkeye and Black Widow.
Well, Tony Stark is too. Like he's just in a tin can.
Yeah. And he took some serious punches from he took some serious punches from Thanos in that last movie, and he still got back up. So I mean, that must be a really good suit.
Yep.
Yeah. I believe that suit is magic. I mean, he calls it nanotechnology, but let's be honest.
His current suit, I think his current suit's probably fine and would protect him from a lot of stuff. But he would have had to have done a whole lot of tinkering to get things up to that level. And so, like Iron Man, like 1 and 2 and 3, maybe not 3, but maybe 1 and 2, I feel like he probably
the power creep on his suit
a lot more hurt.
The power creep on his suit started really high already, though, because like the very first scene we see him in his Mark II, he takes an immediate tank shot to the face, and he just doesn't even flinch. And I'm like,
he deflects it. He hits it with his hand.
Well, he took one to the face though, because you see the scar, the.
Oh, that's right. He gets hit first without. That's right. I think.
And then he deflects it.
Happens, yeah.
So I'm like, he should have been dead. But
absolutely,
that's just his armor, I guess. I don't know.
Nah, he should have been dead. Anyways,
so
into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
So, what do you guys think of Professor Hulk? My first impressions was like, whoa, this is a little weird. But I got used to it. Like, it was weird at first. I don't know why, just hearing Mark Ruffalo's voice in Hulk form. It was just weird at first, but I quickly got over that.
I thought that... So, I liked Bruce Banner play... I thought it was Grey Hulk at first. I thought he was just going to go straight to Tom Fixer or whatever his name is. But then I was like, okay, I see Professor Hulk. But I was like, I just didn't like it, man. I felt like he had taken the smarts and reduced his strength a little bit, because we don't really see him fight, and when he does fight, he fights in the Hulkbuster as Hulk. So I'm like, he just it feels like he took a serious nerf to just take his brain, which I guess makes sense because he's got to spend more time and energy being smart and everything, but still.
Well, like his power is based on his anger, right? So like the Hulk gets stronger as he gets more angry. So if he's not angry, he probably has a base level of strength, and he does, because we see him like smash quote unquote
he still destroys a car or whatever.
Yeah,
but like he's just not. He's not like Bruce Banner's not a fighter, so he's not willing to fight. He doesn't get angry about stuff, and like because of that, there's a serious like, I don't know. It just kind of takes some of the fun out of the character, I think, for me.
I did, but also because Bruce Banner has trained himself to be so calm in most circumstances that I don't ever see him getting to that point where he does have the rage and anger of Hulk to breach that, unless something really went wrong with him.
But Scott, he's always angry.
That's a secret.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Jeez. Watch a movie.
Yeah, right.
I think, like, it'd be cool because, I agree with Scott on that. It just feels, like it's more Bruce Banner than Hulk, where it should be like half and half, and until he's like, okay, it's time to fight. Hulk. All right, let's get going.
Yeah, he
you
wasn't.
know?
Yeah, he wasn't super balanced. I feel like he was a scientist now. He was just a brainy guy. But on top of that, he was a brainy guy with very large fingers. Makes it very difficult to handle that computer and all them typey stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he just seemed less useful than he would have been.
But he makes good tacos at least.
Yeah, so it seems.
Yeah.
But I think it was beneficial to showing that, amongst other things, was beneficial to showing the real difference 5 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, theory, when Ant-Man first pops around and he's walking through, and he's like, what's going on here? And a kid passes by and he looks at the kid, he's like, what happened? And the kid says nothing to him and just keeps biking.
Yeah.
I think that's the kid I think that's him as a young kid. Because when he was, when they were first testing the time machine, he kept coming back as different versions of himself. And one of those was a preteen kind of kid.
Yeah.
I think that kid was him. I think he went into some weird timey-wimey nonsense and saw himself coming back. And I think the fact that the kid didn't talk to him proves that, because he was still under the impression that you're not supposed to talk to people in your past lives so as not to screw anything up, as we all know from Back to the Future.
I'd have to watch it again.
I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. What's that?
I'd have to watch it again and see to compare. But
I'm gonna be playing real close attention this time.
But I think that he was just a sad child. Like you see, I got a lot of Walking Dead vibes
right
from
there.
him,
It's hard to be
so-
sad on a bike, bro. Look,
Well,
he was fine. He just
he
didn't
did
want
it.
to talk to him.
He
because
did it.
Can't
He
talk
was the
to his
sad kid on the
past
bike.
or future self.
But I liked that moment when he's like walking around town and everything, and he's just like, it's like a very. I said it before, but it's very Walking Dead. It's very like,
Yeah.
Rick Grimes waking
Yes,
up and
that's
seeing
true.
the whole world just destroyed, basically.
Yes, that is very much what it is like. That is true.
I also
the little
like
bit I've seen of that show, I have seen that.
I also like they used this time skip as a means to recast his daughter to be older.
Yes.
It bothers me a little bit that she kept the house, having both of her guardians lost. But maybe after the snap, people just didn't care whether kids just owned homes or whatever. It's like I don't know how she paid utilities or whatever. But you know what? I don't think there's.
Oh no.
That's one of those
Doesn't
nitpicky
matter. It's
things.
fine. Nobody to pay.
Right.
I really liked the moment where he saw her though. When
Yeah.
her-
Oh yeah. Very
them being
touching.
reunited
Moment.
was great. Yeah. Very nice.
And it felt real too. It felt very real.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
This whole movie
Great
was
acting.
like. This whole movie had a lot of very real moments, and I'm like, it's. I kind of put myself in their shoes a little bit. Like, what would I do if I had spent 5 years,
Right.
dealing with this crap?
Yeah, like when everybody popped out of those portals from space, it just took me back to the first time that I went through a portal through space, and I was like, man, this is so real, it's so good. This is exactly how it would be like. It's a great movie.
But yeah, so
Time heist.
Time Heist.
Yes,
I
this is a
love
time heist.
Time
Yeah.
heist.
Craziness, right? Like
It's an Ant-Man
it's-
movie, man. It's great. I love
it's,
it.
It's so funny to me
movie.
that that's yes. It's so funny to me that that's what we came to. Is like we're just gonna go back in time, and I'm like, that's
Yes.
dope. It's slightly callback to like, if I recall correctly, in the Age of Ultron event in the comics, that's what they had to do for Age of Ultron. Like,
Yes.
They literally had to go back in time because they couldn't beat him. Ultron got to a certain point where he was too powerful and they couldn't beat him, so they had
And
to
it
go
was
back
the-
in time.
Well, technically, Ultron came to Earth from the future, so they had to go to the future to kill Ultron before he came back to the past. But I love that they used the time. I think it's called the time panel or whatever. It's basically just like a platform that they stood on top of, and it just teleported them. And that's exactly what it was in the movie. Although in the comics, Nick Fury just had it stashed somewhere in a closet, and he was just like, "Oh,
Like
yeah,
everything else.
Yeah, so he's just like, I knew this was going to happen. Oh, by the way,
Was in the
here's
gut
one
of
of your...
some intergalactic being that's disguised as a cat.
No, but he had a replica of Captain America's shield and one of Iron Man's suits, so they could have stuffed with them when they went to the past or whatever. And I'm like, why do you have this in your dungeon?
Because he's a fan, Scott. He's a fanboy. He's just a hoarder, a fanboy hoarder.
But
it was really nice to see Tony Stark with his kid.
It was so good seeing Dad Stark, man. I love
know.
Dad Stark.
It's great. It was so good when he dies and leaves them without a father.
Yeah, it's so great, isn't it?
Gosh.
It's great.
Okay, so several movies ago, I called that he would die. Crap, come on, phone.
He would die in this movie? You thought he was going to die here?
No. Several movies ago. This is when David was still around. So I don't know what we were talking about. Maybe we were talking about the Infinity War movies, or like the end goal of it, or something like that. But yeah, I was like, he's probably gonna die because like he's the main arc character. He's the one who's like learned a lot, changed a lot. He's the one who's gonna die. I was like, he's probably gonna die. That seems to be what they're building up to. And David was like, I hate that. And his point of view was that like, it's so dumb that you have a character learn something, become something better.
I remember that.
The end of his arc is for him to die.
Yes.
And it was like, why can't he just live having learned that lesson and being a new person? And I agree with that now. Like I wanted him to be able to be a dad to this girl and to live with Pepper and to just be a guy, be a normal person, having learned all of these things. But no, they die.
It makes sense though.
I have the beginning of that sounds right, but I also believe that this had to happen for him because Tony Stark does not stop. He will not quit. And we see that almost immediately. Like it took Captain America maybe 5 minutes on his porch to go, wait, okay, maybe I can do time travel. Like I didn't even think about that. Maybe I can do that. And then it took him 10 minutes to do it. Like he just figured it out.
Yeah.
Like Tony Stark, as long as he's got suits, and even when he was retired, he was making suits for Pepper and his kid. Like he does not stop. There's no way that he's not going to think that his family and him are safe. He's just going to keep fretting about it and preparing for the worst and everything. And I think the last scene that we see him with capitalized on that, where it was like, we're okay, we're fine, you can quit. Like it wasn't a learning situation for him. It was, I know this is going to keep killing you and you just need to let it go. We're fine.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like it started with, I want to say Age of Ultron / the first Avengers, because he like went up into space and whatever. So he's like, okay, this is like a galactic problem type of a thing. And then in Age of Ultron, Scarlet Witch did like a thing to his mind, so he saw like visions and stuff, and so that made him like freak out about like what else is out there, and like we're not ready for this type stuff. And so that's like where he like started getting like, okay, no, we have to prepare for the worst.
There's a line that he says, and I wish I could remember it. I think it is from Ultron, and I think it is after this vision that you just mentioned, Nick. He says something, and I'm pretty sure he said it to Captain America, and he said something about like ultimate sacrifice or laying down on the line, whatever it was. Like it was something to that effect. And I was like, okay, well, obviously they're gonna play to him making the ultimate sacrifice whenever he has to. Like, and yep. Called it, unfortunately. I wish it hadn't been the case, but I wish a lot of other things hadn't happened. But
pointing it out, just a thought that just came to me. You were talking about Scarlet Witch had given Tony Stark critical PTSD or whatever. I want to believe that because she had the ability to do that she also had the ability to like remedy that a little bit, or at least ease it a little bit, but I don't think that she did or even thought about it, so maybe that's just been still kind of bothering him.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. Like it's because Tony Stark's not one of those characters like, yeah, I need like mental help, like he's not the one who's like, I'm going to start popping pills, try and try and get better or go to like
That switch was
AA
not going to
meetings.
flip back itself.
Yeah.
It was not going to.
Well,
he was not going to go back.
I don't think she gave him the PSD. I think she gave him the vision,
Yeah.
and that the vision, because her powers are connected to the stones, his vision was just connected to that future with Thanos and all of that nonsense. It also probably fed off his own PTSD because he already had PTSD from New York, which was basically all that Iron Man 3 was about, which is like him dealing with that. So yeah, I think it just played off of that. I don't think it gave him that. Anyways.
Can we start talking about the time travel?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's do
Time
that.
traveling.
Please,
I love that. I love that they went through older movies and like it made one of the trailers make more sense because one of the trailers was just like footage from older films.
Yeah.
And like now that I see that, I'm like, oh, okay, they could have been like playing towards that in this film.
I
yeah,
didn't even make that assumption. I was like, this is just paying homage. They're just trying to hype it up. They don't want to use their own footage. And they didn't use any of that, obviously. But it was just like, I just felt like that was just what they were trying to do, was pay homage. But this was really just like the fan service, like, marathon.
Yes.
I loved every second.
Oh, for sure.
I loved it. So as someone who likes Thor: The Dark World, I love that they went back to that. I love that Thor got to talk to his mom.
Fat Thor. He's
Yes.
now fat
Oh yeah,
right
that's
now.
true. We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
Freaking Lebowski Thor.
Okay, what do you think about it,
Dude.
though? Like, what did you think?
The dude abides. Did you notice that he still has abs on top of his gut?
A little bit, yeah. He has
Go back,
little,
he has individual ab muscles on top of his gut. I loved that so much.
Because, like, he's a god, right? So it's like...
Yes.
So
like,
can't they kind of decide what shape they have type of a thing?
maybe. I think it's more like even when he's disheveled and hasn't taken care of himself, he still looks better than anyone else who hasn't taken care of themselves.
Yeah.
So like he's the top of the line of anyone his size or like demeanor. You know what I mean? Anyone else who's a big slob who drinks all the time and wears pajamas, he's gonna look better than them. I think that's just like he's the epitome of that.
But also, like, Thor in the Norse mythology is also sometimes depicted as just a very large, heavy-set man.
Yeah, and a lot of like Norse people are like. I mean, that's what Odin was like.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And so like they're just like big people in general. So yeah, maybe more traditional to that. But like it does, I just love that it didn't really stop him from being Thor. Like,
And so there's a moment when I thought, like, when he got struck by lightning or whatever, I thought he was going to slim down or whatever, and it just braided his beard and everything, but it just made me feel so, like, it didn't even matter. I didn't care, because as soon as he had the suit on, I was like, he is Thor. I don't care how big or round he is. He's going to kill everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that. And it felt so real too. Like, I know he was making fun of people who had like anxiety or depression or whatever, or like, you know, he's had this whole like, you know, I just feel like I'm having a panic attack or whatever, and he just kind of overemphasized that or whatever. But I just loved it. I felt it was so real because the man has had lost everything basically, and now he goes back in time to see his mom that's dead.
Absolutely. Like as people, I guess because he's like a comedic character, people don't like harp on it as much. But I feel so much for Thor because he has lost
for sure
more than anyone else here. like he lost his whole so his dad just disintegrates in front of him. He lost his whole planet and just took the few people he could have with him, and then Thanos found them, killed half of them the traditional way, and his brother in front of him. So like killed them in a way that he's not getting them back. You know what I mean? They weren't snapped; they were murdered. As was
and he
Loki.
had to kill his own half sister or whatever that he finally met, and then just destroyed half of his people.
Yeah,
Like,
and then he was thrown off into space.
Yeah,
and wound up on the windshield of the Guardians.
And then
not a good time for Thor,
right?
No.
And then he had a chance to like save everyone else and kill Thanos,
goofed
but he failed at that.
Yeah,
and so like Thor's feeling a lot of like weight and a lot of like sadness and anger and regret, and oh man, that's why it was like so powerful at the beginning when he was like, I went for the head, and then he just like walks off. I was like, oh, Thor, I'm so sorry.
Like,
Kill him.
As like funny as crazy it was to see him and Korg just playing Fortnite or whatever in his house or whatever, like is also very real. Like he's just like, I don't care. We're done fighting this. There's no hope, and he's like, don't give me hope. I don't want it. I don't need it. We're fine, and I'm just gonna keep enjoying my self-pity. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, you do that. Like, I almost thought that they weren't going to convince him. I thought that, maybe they were just going to, because when they were going to go kill Thanos, they didn't take Tony with them, so they knew they weren't going to convince him. But I just felt like this time around, Thor was not going to come along.
Yeah, but did you guys notice that Thor fought a troll in the movie? In that scene when they're in their house and they were playing Fortnite, the rock guy, I can't. What's his name?
Korg.
Gordon, yeah. He's like, Thor, there's this guy who's like making fun of me because I can't do that. And then Thor's like, hey, listen here.
Yeah.
So he was literally fighting like a today troll. It's great. I thought it was also a very moving scene for him. Like, I guess like a couple of scenes when he went back in time and went to Asgard. In Thor the Dark World timeline. And instead of going to his ex-girlfriend, he went to his mom, again, because he's, like, depressed and sad. Yeah. He's like, I just need to talk to my mom. I miss her. And it's like, oh, Thor.
And I love that she understood. Like, she was like, you're not my Thor, you're from the future. Yeah. And it was like, it's because she's a god, right? She would know because,
No, Scott, it's because she's a mom.
Okay, she's a mom, but also because...
No, she's a mom. Moms know their kid. Don't you tell me no different, Scott. If you went back into the past and saw your mom 5 years ago, she'd know you were from the future.
I bet she. You know what? I bet she would. That's
moms
how it works.
Know everything.
But
okay, back to your ridiculous theories.
Well, I was just going to say that there's also gods of time in Norse mythology, so like I'm sure they've had deals with time before.
Yeah. One question I have with that is, okay, it was also very nice when he summoned Mjolnir.
Mjolnir.
And Mjolnir?
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir.
Malk.
Yes.
Give the glass.
Like it was very nice that when he summoned it, he got it, and it was very moving for him because it was like, I am still worthy. Like, that was very poignant.
Yeah, that's true.
It was a real high moment for him too. Like, he was legitimately happy about it.
Yeah. But also, he took it with him, so Thor in that time doesn't have his hammer. So it's like,
brought it back. It's fine.
So what?
So it's implied that when Captain America returns all that stuff, he returns it at the same exact moment that he took it. And so I'm assuming in that period in Thor 2 when like Thor's just like farting around or whatever, and he doesn't have his hammer, he just assumes that his hammer is just sitting somewhere because back in that time, Thor really never really cared where he left it. He would just leave it randomly, and then he would just reach out his hand for it. So, like, where it was there and where it gets put back later does not matter to Thor in that time period.
All right. That makes a lot of sense, because I wondered, like, where was it at the end? Why didn't Captain America have it when he came back?
My thought was that, like, they had to take the Reality Stone out of Jane. Right? That means when Captain America went back in time, he had to go put it back into her somehow.
That's hot.
He literally just could have, like, broken it over her head, because the first thing to put it into her was contact.
Yeah.
He could have just thrown the vial at her, have it crack at her, and then it just would have seeped back into her body like it did the first time.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But how okay, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but how would he return the Soul Stone? Because like the only time to get it,
bring it back to the red guy, be like, here.
So that means he has to see
and how
Red
messed
Skull.
up would that be? Yeah, that was the first time he'd see Red
great
Skull and be like,
conversation with Red
what
Skull.
the like, would he try and fight him? But he's
he'd be like, this is what you get, broski. Here, have this back.
Captain America, you cannot hit me because I have ascended.
Well, I think also
to death.
Some people were making the assumption or the theory that like after the Soul Stone has been created and taken, Red Skull will be like free. You can just be like, oh, good, I'm gone, chill. So I'm sure Captain America would love to just come back and be like, nope, here's it back. You're still here. What's up,
like,
bro?
Flips him off,
bye.
like going away.
Just double flips him off.
I'd like to assume that like peace. I'd like to assume that he's kind of like trapped there, so that when Captain America returns the stone, like Red Skull just gets kind of summoned back. He might be part of the Soul Stone in some form.
Yeah, that's what I assume. I just assume that Captain America would be happy with the fact knowing that he just left the Red Skull there trapped with the Soul Stone.
I do find it funny, like, so getting into that point when we see Nat and Hawkeye there to go get the Soul Stone. Before they even get this idea that one of them's got to die or whatever, like, I saw that and I was like, the Red Skull's going to go over. He's going to die. They're just going to kill him. But I guess apparently he's a guardian of some sort, because I'm like, there's no way Hawkeye's first thought was, I got to go over. He'd be like, no, Red Skull, he's got to go, man. He's dead.
Right. Well, yeah, but it's also, you have to kill someone you love. You have to lose someone you love. So
True.
I don't think they would.
So they should have just brought Captain America there, and then he could kill...
Right? But no, I figure that Red Skull is kind of like... Not kind of like the overseer of the soul, like, hey, if you really want it, you gotta sacrifice something.
He's definitely a guardian.
He's basically I picture him as like an apparition. Like if you try and touch him, like you'll just go right through him, type of a thing.
Yeah,
he's
very misty and see through.
Yeah. But man, how I thought Black Widow. I thought that that whole scene was a very heroic scene for her, and she was fighting Hawkeye. First going in, I was like, okay, it's gonna be Hawkeye because his family's dead. He has nothing else to live for. Okay, whatever. But then they started fighting over it. I was like, oh no, what's happening?
There was a lot of cliffhangers there, and literal cliffhangers.
Hey,
but there's moments when she gets knocked down. And he's like, I'm going. And I'm like, oh, he's got it. And then she stuns him. And he's like, oh, she's got it. And then she jumps over the cliff and he grabs her. And she's like, oh, okay, she's got it again. Okay.
It's a fun time. Who's going to die? Let's do it.
Who's going to die? Oh, my gosh. But I do feel because if their plan succeeded, which it did, his family would come back. But she still would not have much to live for. Because she still had she has the Avengers, right? They're her family, but to be honest, she feels like she's scarred in many ways.
Right.
And I feel like she had to give up this opportunity. Yeah, she
felt
like she was a monster.
And I feel like Hawkeye is her real family,
Yes.
because they're true friends, and so she probably figured this is the only way to help him be happy, is because if we do this and the mission's successful, then he'll get his family back to help him out. And so
one other thing that I felt was that.
Go on.
I was gonna say one other thing that I felt was that she's so emotional about finding Hawkeye and dealing with his whole deal, because I feel like she empathizes so well with what he's dealing with. She understands what it's like to go that dark route, and she's been there. She's gone on those killing sprees and had those missions after missions, just hunting people for the sake of hunting them. And so when that moment when she holds his hands, it didn't feel cheesy. It felt real as possible. It felt like, you don't have to do this because I did this. I know what it's like, and it kind of pulled him back. It definitely looked like someone who had suffered from some sort of an addiction was helping someone else get through this grieving process or whatever.
Yeah. Again, it's every one of the characters have a real moment, like you said, that this movie does a really good job of showing all the Avengers having real emotional moments, and it's great.
Yeah, I'd agree.
The part with Nebula and War Machine when they see Star-Lord just dancing,
I love that.
Clock him.
So that's him.
That was it. Yeah.
So
it's so good,
and it's so real because when we see that first scene in Guardians, we're like, yeah, this is a happy, joyful moment. But then having that outward perspective, you're like, yeah, he's just an idiot dancing around in a cave singing to himself. How crazy could you get?
Yeah,
it's good. I loved it so much.
And War Machine just knocks him out in one punch. Just
yeah,
it's great.
I thought they did a good job bringing old Thanos back into the story, because it makes sense that old Nebula, if she came back in time, she would still be on the
same
Thanos,
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, the same Thanos neural network or whatever.
Everything.
And I think it's a
it was very clever.
It's a convincing wrinkle. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just something that they probably wouldn't have thought of. And yeah, it's neat.
And Thanos having the knowledge that he does of the Soul Stones would immediately react the way that he did. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, Time Stone, got it. Must be a future self. Awesome." Like he's very collected, and he was very calm in the situation too. He's just like, oh, "Okay, these must be guys from the future. I might have lost. Guess I got to go fight them and finish this off."
Of course he's calm. He's perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
All things should be.
And then he sees himself die. He's like, "Huh?
Oh yeah.
All right, I get it.
Cool. I still won." So yeah, that's cool. Thanos was fun. I also think he should have died several times against people that he was fighting when in this final bit.
We're not there yet.
Whatever. Look.
Spoilers.
We still have one more time jump to go with Captain America and Iron Man and Hulk.
So I really liked that. I liked that they had to improvise. Loki just took the Tesseract and just pieced.
Just bounced. Yeah, it's great.
Out. Teleported into his spin-off series. It's good. It was funny.
And then Captain America fighting himself.
Oh gosh, that was great.
That was so great.
I love that.
When younger him.
I could do this all day. Yeah, I know. I love that
was
so
good.
much.
I think so.
And then like he whispers, Hail Hydra.
Oh yes,
I
love that.
I got chills.
I was so happy to see that. I was like, yes, they did it without it being real. I was like, yes, yes. And I love that. I love how smart he is. Gosh, this is so good.
I also love that that Loki got away here because I'd like to assume that this new show that's gonna have Tom Hiddleston leading in Loki or whatever, that's his like how he figures a way out of it and stuff. Because there's a moment when Thanos is about to kill him and he's like, no more tricks, no more this, no more that, or whatever. But in the background, I'm like, there's no way Loki did not.
Oh, there's absolutely a trick. Yeah,
there's no way he didn't put a decoy there or whatever and played it all the way through. There's no way he let himself go that way. He's just not that kind of guy. That it goes completely against his character.
And I think in that universe he did just because he was overpowered. But I think this new little wrinkle gives us the opportunity for him to present himself into something else. But I'm really excited to see what that series is about because I like Loki and I was very sad when he died.
Not only do I think it because of that, but also because when we see him in Thor 2, it's assumed that Loki doesn't notice that Thor and Rocket just run by his cell, but there's no way he didn't see them. And also, since that's in the future from when he escapes in the Avengers, I'm assuming that since he also spends time with his mother again, that she maybe let off the idea that Thor had come to her from the future or whatever. I feel like he'd have some preparations in this, or at least kind of have the strategic mind of his maniacal thinking to go, okay, maybe something's going to go down and here should I prepare for it or whatever. I'd like to see a little bit of that, but I don't know if that's going to be what the show's about.
We shall see. I'm excited for it regardless. But yeah, so they lose the Tesseract and Pym particles, or they don't have any more Pym particles, and they're like, oh, we can go back in time and get Pym particles. And I'm like, yeah, you could have done that to begin with, but yeah, okay. That was really cool, though. I really enjoyed that.
Went back in time again.
Yes.
And Captain America saw Peggy, and that was really sad and emotional.
My heartstrings.
Oh no, Peggy. And then Iron Man, Tony Stark, he got to see... He had a father conversation with his dad. What's it like to be a dad? Was it hard for
dad
you?
To dad.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, again, pulling on those heartstrings. It was so...
Yeah.
It was good. It was very, very...
And we got to see Jarvis come in there, man, paying homage to the
yeah.
show.
Yeah.
I got to go back and see season 2 of Peggy Carter, because that I saw the first season and I was like, this is a really good show, but then...
Right? It's a great show.
I haven't seen any of it.
I need to finish the second season now, because apparently Captain America is her husband, so...
Yeah.
Right?
It's great. It's a good time.
There were people that were talking about Captain America and how he watched a video of her and she's like, oh, he saved my husband or whatever, or saved the man that became my husband or whatever. And people were like, that can't be right because if it's Captain America, she would. But I'm like, there would be no way that she'd say that Captain America saved my husband, who was also Captain America, who came back from the future to see me.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the Weekly Planet mentioning that.
Yeah, okay.
That makes sense.
I think it was them. But then also, like, the name on his jacket is a reference to an older version of Captain America as well. So I'm assuming that he probably just, kept doing his own thing from, back in those times. So
Makes sense.
he doesn't have to be Steve Rogers. He could be Roscoe, whatever.
Yeah.
It works. But yeah, that's good. I'm very happy for him. I called that as well. Whenever Captain America didn't pop back immediately in that little time travel bits at the end, I was like, he's gonna be an old man.
And he
I
was.
honestly didn't think he was going to be an old man. I thought they were going to play it straight like Back to the Future, where just some guy pulls up in a car and he's like, "Hey, are you Sam so and so? Someone left this here for you," and it was this is a shield or whatever. Like I didn't think that Captain America would actually be the one to hand it off.
That would have been funny. I like that Bucky basically called it and knew it.
Oh yeah,
Because if you recall, like, Bucky didn't go up to him and have a chat. Like, Bucky didn't need him to explain things to him. It was Sam who was like, what's going on? And Bucky was like, just go talk to him. It's fine. So, like, I imagine Bucky probably saw or got wind of it at some point in his life, and probably met the old Captain America prior to now.
Another cool fun thing is that Bucky said to Captain America the same thing that Captain America said to him before Bucky left into the war. And was it like something about, I can't have any of the stupid if you're taking it all with you or whatever? Like, in that moment back in the time, he didn't expect Bucky to come back home, and I guess he didn't, really, honestly. And so when Bucky was saying it to Captain, it was like, I don't expect you to come back home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good callback. It was really...
I loved it. And, the fact that he remembered it, but, like, I guess because he'd been frozen or whatever, and so time's weird for him. I don't know.
What else would you think about?
Okay, a nitpick thing of
no nitpicks allowed, Nick.
Nick.
That doesn't make sense, but it was one of those things where I didn't care because I love Captain America and it's totally cool. Like, he's good.
Totally
because
cool, okay, man.
it, like, earlier in the film they were explaining, like, timelines and how, if they change something then that becomes its own timeline and
yes,
whatever. And so they're like, that's why they go after, like, Thanos is defeated and they go back and put the stones back and whatever so they can keep the same timeline. So with that in mind, when he goes back and stays with Peggy, that should have created a whole different timeline, and old Captain should not have been in their timeline because it's totally different from their own thing.
Unless that was always what was supposed to happen, Nick.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
time travel.
because we never see her husband, and, like, it's implied that she's got that, like, love interest or whatever in the show, but I feel like she's just kind of like a rebound guy or whatever until obviously Captain America just comes to her house and was like, "Can I have that dance now?" Like, that would totally change her world, especially because he did it almost immediately after he left.
Oh man, I cried so hard when they finally danced.
Oh gosh,
Lovely.
That was such a heartwarming moment. But I do see what you're talking about. Also, I do feel like, it would be hard for me to believe that he didn't change anything along the way. But I also feel like no matter what, like, he would probably it would all have been according to plan, basically. It would also be, it made me think of things like, Captain America was there to, like, help bury Peggy. Like, he was there to, like, carry her coffin or whatever. So, like, if he's there doing that, is his older self also there witnessing it, and Captain just doesn't recognize him or something? Like, those are probably moments that happen, and we just don't even think about it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, in all honesty, if this Captain America had ever been presented an opportunity to go back in time, he definitely would have taken it. So this was always going to happen. As soon as time travel became a thing, this is probably just inevitably what was going to happen.
I mean, he is the man out of time, so, like, he never really fit in with the modern era anyway. He had to go back to his old time.
Yep. Accurate.
It was a very good ending to his story. It was great.
And I love that it passed off to Sam. I think that it was so deserved.
Yeah.
I feel like Sam was so worthy of it. And, like, I honestly feel like Bucky would have been a great person to pick up the mantle, but the fact that he killed Tony Stark's parents, like, I just feel like it's too much for him. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
it does make me excited for their show, so that's cool.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Plus, he got to hold the shield in Civil War for like 2 seconds. It's fine.
And can we talk about Captain America holding Mjolnir for a second too? Like,
yes,
absolutely not.
That was the moment.
I was so excited.
The theater that I went to just lost it. They're like, "Oh yes!"
Everybody
like, cheering,
lost their
clapping,
absolute
and
mind.
oh man, it was sick.
It was so cool.
So not only does he
love
hold
that.
Mjolnir, but there's a moment when like Thor and him are throwing back and forth the Stormbreaker and the hammer, and then eventually Captain America just holding Stormbreaker. And Thor's like, give me that. And they just toss it back to each other. So I'm like, he's worthy of both weapons. And I feel like at one point he was holding both of them.
Technically, there's no worthy thing on the
That's
axe.
true. That's true.
But still,
anyone can hold the axe. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
I guess it's true because Groot picked it up too, because it's part of him or whatever. But still,
but to be able to like summon it though to you, that's also kind of a big deal.
I mean, that's what he's been doing with his shield for years. He's fine.
And he was
It
just felt so real. But like he's like shooting lightning from his. And like the fact that he's wielding it is one thing, but like to be able to control lightning, like Captain America just went ham on him.
That's how it works, Scott.
I know, but it was just so
possess this. If he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor. That's how it works.
And also, just like, okay, since we are basically to like the final battle.
Absolutely, we
thing.
are.
Yes. There are some beautiful, amazing shots.
Oh
like,
gosh, yes.
Speaking of like Captain America and fighting Thanos. The part where Thanos like breaks his shield and then like Captain America stands up and like tightens his broken shield back on his arm.
Yeah.
And then it does like a wide shot where it shows him, and then there's like a sunbeam shining through the clouds, and then there's like over in distance there's like Thanos and then like his army or whatever. No wait, yeah, there's like his army and whatever, and they're like both charging at each other, and it's like. Oh, it was beautiful. That scene was beautiful.
It's very good. I loved when everybody walked through the portals. When they were like, T'Challa walks through the first, and I was like, oh yeah, Wakanda forever. It was so
Umbambe!
Yes.
Umbambe!
So good.
And this is just me, but when the three silhouettes were walking through the portal, the way Black Panther's helmet sat, I didn't think it was Black Panther at first. I thought it was Wolverine, so I was like, what the heck? And then I was like, no, wait, there's somebody else that's like that. Hold on.
Leading people astray.
There's the X-Men crossover we
You're in the theater. It's like, yes, Wolverine.
I was like, that would be
Everybody's
sick.
like, what?
Who's this guy?
That's
right?
Great.
And then and also just like when the three of them, Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor, when they started fighting them.
Loved it.
Thanos.
So cool. He should have died so many times.
Gosh, yes.
Especially when like Thor like had his axe at him and like Captain America just also grabbed from behind.
Yeah, when they're both pushing down on him, like, you need to die.
Thanos can't handle this. What are you talking about? But yeah, anyway. But no, real MVP. Definitely Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah, getting all those Avengers, and then I think
bringing everybody in and then handling the flood, like the water. When the I'm just like, okay, yeah, you. Hopefully, no one messes with you while you're doing this.
It was also really nice to see other magic users. You know,
yeah.
It wasn't just Doctor Strange and his Asian buddy. I can't think of his name.
Who's also
him, but no.
Wong.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's also named Buddha, yes.
And, you know, there were others. Like, yeah.
It was cool.
It was great.
I loved seeing the Valkyrie back in action.
Oh yeah, gosh.
Cool. I love that because I loved her in Thor Ragnarok, and she wasn't at all in Infinity War, and I was very saddened by that. But cool to see her. I love that she becomes the king.
I love that she's the new king, and we get Guardians of the Galaxy, which is so exciting. I can't wait for the third movie. Holy crap.
I hope they continue that at home. I hope Thor is in the next one, which I think he would be. Like now that Homeboy's back on, I'm sure he'd work with that.
There needs to be a montage of him like losing weight, like Rocky style.
Yeah.
There
What,
needs
what?
to be. There needs to be a montage of him like losing weight, Rocky style, where he's like running upstairs or something. Like, I feel like it fits
That
in the
would be
Guardians a
amazing,
little
yeah.
bit, that kind of stuff. Because I could just see
He's just
him and
running up
Quinn
an
trying to like
endless
compete
golden
against each other,
staircase
and
into
like
space.
Thor just
Until he has the six pack.
yeah.
And there's snow everywhere because
You're right.
always in a Rocky montage. It's always in the winter,
Right.
so there's like snow
That's true.
and whatever.
I love it. It's good. And then like freaking Star Lord's like right behind him trying
Yeah.
to keep up.
And I feel like it'd be funny just to see.
Playing the Rocky soundtrack from his Walkman.
I feel like it'd be funny to see Fat Thor still outrunning Quinn. Like
Absolutely, because of course he would.
he would,
He can
of course.
freaking fly.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it so much.
I also thought they did a really good job showing how powerful Captain Marvel is.
Oh gosh, yes, that headbutt. Holy
yeah,
smokes.
and it just did not phase her at all after that headbutt. Just
Cool.
like that's it.
She's dope. I want another movie with her.
And like where Thanos actually needed the Power Stone to actually like hit her
Yeah.
back.
She felt a little jaded in this movie, and for good reason, but also because I didn't realize that this movie was filmed before Captain Marvel, so Alison Brie hadn't quite gotten into the role of the character of Captain Marvel at that point, which makes sense because it doesn't feel like she kind of developed it really fully until she gets into her movie anyway. But I feel like because of
Yeah.
the tone of the movie, it just fit anyway.
That was also a really really cool moment when all the female Avengers showed up.
Yeah, SJWs.
Yeah, right. It was like it was one of those moments that was like it was really cool, but also like how did they all know to go there? Because
Yeah.
like Spider-Man was like, I don't know how I'm going to get there, and then Captain Marvel's
Because
like, I can do it.
fan
And then they'll be
service.
like, we can help too.
I was like,
how did they
as it was
know?
happening, I was like, "Are we doing this?" Like two of the ladies showed up, and I was like, "Is it gonna be all the ladies?" Yep, they're just doing this. They're just putting all the ladies,
And it
Okay.
was great. Like it was
It was
really
fine.
cool. Like it was a really cool like scene of.
It was just a little over the top. I was like, "That's fine. This is a very over the
It did
top."
feel a
movie."
little over the top, but I loved it so much I didn't care. I did. It just felt good, and
Yeah.
Just felt
They-
right.
They did a scene very similar to that in Infinity War, where it was like Black Widow, Scarlet Witch, and everybody.
Yeah.
But like this one just felt so much more epic. Everything was like up to the 11th level. Like everything was so
very true.
up there. It was very full throttle all the way.
I also just want to bring up Scarlet Witch when she fought Thanos. I cried a little bit because that
that
was
was
like
so
very
cool.
emotional. Like it was a very short
Gosh.
fight,
I
but
wanted her to
man, what
kill
is
him.
it? Was it like very emotionally like driven?
I wanted her to take him out. Like I was like, "Yes, girl."
I thought she was
killed
definitely
him.
going to be the one to go.
Yeah, and just the dialogue, their dialogue where she was like, "You took everything from me," and Thanos like walking to her and like, "I don't even know who you are." And
Yeah,
she
I don't even know
replies-
who you are.
Then she replies, "You will." I'm like, "Oh,
It was real good.
And then yeah, she just goes nuts. And the only way that he's saved is because he's like, "Okay, ship, can you like start firing down here?
Oh, yeah,
because I'm
rain
in
fire.
danger."
Yeah. Bring
Oh man, that was great.
Yeah. So
It was
like
so
it's
good.
it's good to see her like really kind of pull her power out, because like up at that time I feel like she had really like shown a lot of her power, and like this is someone from the comics who like can crack the earth in half with her powers. Like she's an insane mutant, but like she hasn't really shown any of that kind of initiative in these movies yet until we get to this fight, and she's like pulling meteors and crap and throwing them at Thanos. Like holy smokes, dude.
It was really cool.
Amazing.
There's
I feel like Nebula also had a very good story arc throughout
Yeah.
the story.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like at the beginning,
Nebula MVP.
because at the beginning, Tony was teaching her how to play like paper football, you know, and where Nebula growing up has always been like hostile, like competitions, like you gotta kill, you know, if you lose, you angry kill, and so like Tony was teaching her like, no, look, there can be fun competition,
Yeah.
and at the end of that, you know, he was like, she was like, did I win? Yeah, you won. He's like, like there's like great, like she was really happy, and she's like, she didn't know what to do with that. She's like, what? And then Tony was like, see, you can still have fun without there being death.
I think I liked her arc, and I think it's very much a I can live for my own self type of arc, going from this like person who was constantly trying to please Thanos, to please her father figure, to someone who was smart enough and independent enough to see what was wrong with her father figure and to decide to live for herself, which is really, really cool. Awesome message and great arc for her. So I like that a lot as well.
We also got to see how mechanical she really was. Like in that moment when she's with Tony Stark in space or whatever, and he's running out of oxygen and starving, and she's just like, I'm a robot basically. I don't need food or air. I can just be alone here on the ship with your dead body at this point. This is very, very sad for her. Like I felt like she was gonna lose Tony and then just be alone drifting in space forever. Right?
It was also very like symbolic and really sweet that she killed herself. She killed her younger self. I felt like that was very hesitation. Like that was very good that she was the one that killed her younger self, because it shows that that's not who she that's not who she is anymore. You know,
she's literally put that aside.
Over it.
Yeah, and so like I feel like that was a storyline that a lot of people don't really a lot of people don't really acknowledge, and when I watched it I was like, that's actually really sweet. And just like that she has grown so much to like literally and also figuratively like kill her past self. And it was great. It was good.
It. So I also really enjoy that they have found a way to like reset Gamora.
Yeah,
so, like,
they brought her back. Like,
we have Gamora back, but also they've entirely reset all of the like romantic tension between her and Quill, because now she has no idea really who Quill is. Yeah, and so we've got that again. I'm interested to see how they handle that in the third movie, or if they even will, or if they'll just skip that and they'll be right back to where they were when they ended the second one. I'm interested to see.
Right, and there was that whole dialogue like, so this is the guy? Yeah, it was either him or a tree.
Right.
It was great.
I have a theory about the ending. This moment when Tony Stark snaps his finger. So we see everybody disappear and everything. And it's implied that all these people get kind of like trapped in the Soul Stone or whatever, but I don't feel like Tony did that. I feel like Tony snapped his finger and in his mind put these guys back in their place in time, and that was just like the transition that we saw as them all disappearing and everything, to kind of keep the time going, because that way it would remove. They don't ever say that otherwise, because otherwise it would just be Thanos, and that past reality, whatever, never shows up, and this never really happens, and so I guess that reality is even better off than this one is. But I'd like to assume that's what Tony did, and also, since we don't see the body of Nebula after the snap, I'm assuming that she also went there as well, and that's why Nebula doesn't just fall down dead or whatever and can still be part of the Guardians.
I think they just turned to ash.
Yeah?
Yep.
That's also a theory. Yes, you're right.
I think he just killed them. I think that's what happened.
But man, that was an amazing death scene.
Gosh, yes. Jeez Louise.
Oh man. Yeah, and when Pepper just came to him, and just pushed Peter Parker aside.
Yeah, absolutely.
Peter, get out the way.
You barely know this man.
And then she was just telling him like, it's okay, we're safe. Mm-hmm. We're all safe.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Tony, no.
But how cool was Rescue? I loved
Rescue was
that
so good.
She showed up.
God.
Yeah, it was great.
So cool. I'm glad that finally freaking happened. Ugh.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think about the final moment after the credits roll and we have that sound? Do you guys know? Have you guys sat through it?
Well, I mean, first off, it's ridiculous or cool, I guess, and crazy that they didn't put any actual sequences in. But yeah, it just sounds to me like Tony Stark hammering away at his suit. That's what I thought it was when I first heard it in the theater.
From like the first Iron Man.
Yeah, and I was like, that's just probably just to pay homage to this whole thing and like the humble beginnings it came from.
So I thought that too, and I still do think that that's exactly what they're looking for. But I
You
also
have another crackpot theory for us, Scott?
I also would like to assume that it's Ironheart working on her first piece of armor because
That's fine. You can assume that.
she's also inspired, and it also would fit in this whole idea of this like younger Avengers things because like technically she would be like around Spider-Man's age. So then we'd have Spider-Man, Black Widow, or Black Panther, and Doctor Strange, and everybody being like the new Avengers or whatever. Like I think I'd love to see that a little bit.
I'm gonna say you're wrong.
Okay, all right. Well,
Ethan likes saying a lot of things.
I think it's just him hammering away at his suit.
I like that there wasn't any credit scenes, because I thought they did a really good, like, just kind of showing, like, okay, this is the end of this storyline, you know?
yes.
Yeah.
It had so much
great.
closure that even though I'm so excited for Spider-Man Far From Home and all these other confirmed Marvel movies, like I just feel like no matter how good or bad they are, I feel like this is good. This is it. This is the end of a good saga.
Yeah. That's good. I'm excited to see what they do next. I think the word on the street is that they're not going to reveal Phase 4 plans until after Spider-Man Homecoming, or Far From Home.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's fine. Let
It
things,
just
let things settle.
Yeah, just let it just continue to soak. Let
Let
the
it marinate,
Endgame,
man. Let it marinate.
Yeah, just let it marinate. You know.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to see that movie too. Spider-Man. We've had so much good Spider-Man lately. It's crazy. We're getting so
Gosh.
spoiled with Spider-Man.
We are,
Homecoming,
but it's great.
Spider-Verse was so good, and then this movie's coming. Oof.
Oof.
All right, so now comes the question: is what do you guys think is going to be next? What do you guys have? What kind of crackpot ideas do you have?
Man. A lot of people are talking Galactus, and I'm like, that's fine.
I think if they did Galactus, it would be a long term thing. Like I feel like
yes. I think that's what they should do. Like they should have another like 10-year build
Yeah.
to something big, just so that we can have time for it to feel genuine.
because like Thanos is big, but
intense.
like Galactus is huge. Like Galactus is powerful, and he's not even like he's not something that you can snap away. He's part of the universe.
Yeah.
So killing him destroys
He-
a large part of the universe.
He literally eats planets.
Well, I think we'll probably deal with Eternals and things of that nature. I think we're gonna get like super cosmic, and talk about like
Yes.
big, ridiculous, like permanent fixtures of the Marvel universe, and that's where we're gonna go.
Which is where I think will lead us to Galactus and help us in preparation.
But I think the main thing about the new phases will be introducing new members of the team, introducing new Avengers, and folding the X-Men and the Fantastic Four into the Marvel universe.
I would love to see some X-Men in the Marvel universe, man. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do. It'll be interesting. I'm excited. I trust them. Hopefully they'll continue this great stuff. I'm sure they will. But yeah, it is loco.
With as much money as they're making with all this franchise, and as much money as they've made with this franchise, there's no way they're going to stop. They're going to keep putting, and because they have such a passion for these stories, for these characters, they're going to do it right, and we know that they're going to do it right.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm just excited for the future of it. So I think at this point, this is a great movie. Every one of you should see it. If you haven't, you shouldn't be listening this far in. But
I like it. This is one of the few movies where I'm like, after I saw the movie, I got the feeling where I'm like, I need to see it again. Like I need to watch it. I still haven't. I haven't watched it a second time, but I still have that desire to watch it again.
I plan to see it again.
I plan to see it again, definitely.
Absolutely. Gosh, so good. But yeah, that's that. Thank you for listening to that review. Let's move on to what we've been nerding out to. Gentlemen, Nick, you want to start us off as our guest? What have you been into lately, bud?
What have I been up into? I have been up into. So I've been watching a couple animes. I'm watching the final season of Fairy Tail. Just because, like, here's the thing about Fairy Tail.
One
Like,
Piece Wizards.
It's not that great. Like here's the thing. It's good. Like, I consider it more of like a comfort food when it comes to like shonen anime, because it's like, it's not good. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's doing what it does, and it does it well enough, you know, where I'm like, okay, no one's gonna die, like it's fine. But I've like watched all of it to where I'm like, I have to just see how it ends, just because I've devoted so much time to it. So I'm doing that with my roommate. I'm watching Hunter x Hunter, which is great. Hunter x Hunter is it's really good. And I just bought a movie called Redline. It came out maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, I'm like,
really
I've racing anime.
Okay. But I hear like the visuals are like breathtaking, and like it will blow you away, because
the animation budget was insane.
So I really don't know much about it. I just read like quick little reviews of like, yeah, it's good, or like things like that. But yeah, I don't really know too much about it, and I'm really excited because I haven't put in like our day and age, it's hard to see something and then not really know much about it before going into it. Like, it's so easy to learn about whatever.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I'm excited because I haven't done that for a while. I haven't gone in and watched something blindly. And so I'm really excited about that.
That's what I did with Wolf Children. Turned out that movie sucked. But yeah, I appreciate that. I think it's cool. That's good. Going and buying stuff is cool.
Yeah, so those are the main things that I've been nerding out to.
Excellent.
I'm also very excited for Borderlands 3.
Yes.
It's just got announced, and they had
So
gameplay reveal
excited.
recently. Oof, it's going to be so good.
I cannot wait for that game.
Haven't played.
We need to connect online and play together.
Yeah, you have a PlayStation now.
I do have a PS4.
Oh, there you go.
Just in time for PS5.
That's right.
So literally, yep.
Oh gosh.
So me, Scott, I did it. I beat the Elite Four in Pokemon Pearl.
Yay!
A game that came out like a decade ago.
It happened.
Yes, I finally did. And you know, like, I am so annoyed with myself. So like I've been, for listeners, I've been working my way through Pokemon Generations. I really want to get through all of them before the newest one comes out. So get through the 7 before 8 comes out. So I have 3 more to go. I've got to get through 5, 6, and 7 because I just finished 4, which is Pearl. And like I told myself, I was like, I just need to beat the Elite Four, and then I'll be done, and I'll move on. So I did beat the Elite Four, fine a frickin'ly. And but there's like a section of the game that opens up after the Elite Four, and I'm annoyed with myself because I actually really like the post game in this game because the pre game is so bad, it's so lame. But the post game, they introduce a whole bunch of other Pokemon, and I'm like, oh gosh, well, okay, cool. And so like I've been catching legendaries and doing these weird stuff and exploring new places, and I was just like, see, this is what I wanted earlier, and now I have it, and I should move on and just start playing Black 2, but I can't because I'm just like, Urgh. But anyway, once I finish exploring this one part that I've never been to, I'm gonna put it down and I'm gonna move on to Black. And yeah, I just oof. But I did it. I'm so proud of myself. Finished that up. And I'm actually taking time to do something other than work right now, so that's cool.
It's good. You should finish Voltron.
I did finish Voltron. I told you that.
Oh, that's right. We'll talk about it then.
Yes, Voltron.
Next episode, kids.
I finished Voltron, so that's cool. We should talk about Voltron. Have you watched Voltron, Nick?
I started, but then other things caught my eye, and
we don't care about you, Nick.
You're a despicable
I've heard,
human being, Nick.
Like, I heard...
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I hear that Voltron, it starts getting, like, really good, like, second season. Like, that's where it starts actually really getting,
So,
good.
my favorite season is probably 3.
Yeah.
But yes, 2 is good. The end of 2 is, like... is nuts, like that cliffhanger, and as someone who watched it before it was like all out. Like I like when I started with season 1, then season 2 came out, and like I got to the end of season 2 and I was like, what? Like I was so ready for season 3.
I was one of the lucky few that was able to see there was season 3 and 4 were there when I got into Voltron, so I just like skipped over that phase. But I remember Ethan being like, "Whoa!"
I was like, oh my gosh, give me 3. And then 3 was great, and then 4 was like, what? I just like, they had this like, for a while they had, for at least for me personally, they had this like pattern of like awesome season, meh season, awesome season, meh season.
Yeah.
And then the last 2 seasons were good. But I really liked 3. So hopefully you will as well. But yeah, it's good. It's real good. Is there anything else I'm doing? The only thing I wrote down was Pokemon Pro. I don't think I'm doing anything else, man. However, Final Fantasy 12 is released on the Switch now, and I'm like, should I get that? I've also been going to convention. Well, I went to a convention. I went to SakuraCon. I probably should get 12 and I should probably get it on the Switch because then I'll actually be able to play it, because I tend to only be able to play things that are on mobile devices at this point. That's why I'm playing Pokemon.
That's where the Switch is great for that.
Yeah,
you're traveling a lot. Boom.
I went to a convention a couple weeks ago, SakuraCon in Seattle. Really cool con. Big attendance. Hung out with some great creators from Webtoon. Really cool. This was a good time. Seattle's a neat place. Really glad I went. I love conventions. I'll be at a convention next week as well. A lot of conventions in my future right now. And then A-Con, and I'll also be at E3 this year. Anime Expo, Louisiana, LA Comic Con. San Japan. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be a fun year.
Jeez Louise, I wish I had your job. My goodness gracious.
I mean, those aren't all for work.
I know, but that's even worse. I want your job. No.
That's good. Just hang in there, Scott. You're almost there. But yeah, that's me right now. That's what I nerd to. Scott, what you nerd into?
Well, I guess along the lines of the Mr. Fairy Tale over here, I've been catching up to Black Clover.
Okay.
Which is basically Fairy Tale but darker.
Yeah.
And
I can get behind that.
I like it a lot. The first maybe 20, I want to say probably closer to 30 episodes were kind of meh. They're not like
That's
bad.
A lot of episodes to be meh.
Yeah, they're not really bad. It doesn't really come into its own as a shonen anime until it gets past that first arc, because it just feels like generic shonen. You know, I want to be the guy. I've got this cool power, and it's unknown, and blah blah blah. Like it fits in the Naruto and the Bleach and the One Piece tropes and all the other stuff. Plus, I guess since it's magic, it's like also fairy tale. Very weird, but I don't know. The second and last arc that I've just been watching have been like really really freaking good, and it just keeps getting better and better. And it also explained a lot of why it was the way that it was. So I don't know. Like if you can endure 20 to 30 episodes of kind of meh, like it gets really really good, and it's very good. I do wish that I may have like read the manga up to this point and then just kind of picked it up, but
so in your opinion the investment is worth it?
Yes, I do feel like the investment is worth it. It does build up I feel like without it you'd miss out a lot on character development and how people got to where they are. But it also is interesting that after like episode 23-ish or whatever, there's like kind of like a cold, like not like a hard reset, but like kind of a cold reset where it's like it starts the new arc, and you don't really need to know too much about what the first arc was about, and it kind of introduces some of the characters, but it's also an entry point for people. So if you wanted to start there, it's fine. You'd miss a lot of certain aspects of it, but it does try to cover a lot of those things with some flashbacks. So maybe worth the shot. I don't know. And then also I've been playing Final Fantasy 14 and just trying to grind through those last couple of levels. I'm trying to level up my character up to 70 in all classes so that I can be ready for this new expansion and have to do it all again. So
yay. So you're grinding so you can be ready for the new grind.
Yes. And we
doesn't sound like a pyramid scheme at all.
Nope. We just did the Final Fantasy 15 collaboration event, which allowed us to get the Regalia car from the Final Fantasy 15 game. And it's
cool.
the first 4-person mount in this game, which is pretty cool. You also get all of the outfit from Noctis and his crew and everything, which is kind of cool. I love Final Fantasy XIV, and honestly, Ethan, with all the content that I've unlocked now, there's a lot of Final Fantasy Tactics and 12 stuff in here. I think if you like this stuff, you gotta get into this game, man. It's so freaking good, dude.
I wouldn't mind it as Oof.
Like
Time.
Alabaster is like a real place in this game. Like you go there, or Rabanastre is a real place that you go to, and like it's also like a 24-person dungeon and raid, and you can get like whatever her name is. What's her name? The Viera. Fran. She's actually there in the game. Like I don't know how she got there, but she came here. It's just a really good game, man.
It's just her though, right? Balthier's not there.
Just her. Balthier, he's referenced, and we see like a silhouette of him or whatever. But I think that she's just it's implied that she's kind of just here for a little bit, and then she's going to go back to wherever she was. Because you can go to Rabanastre, but you can't really explore it it's not like a zone, at least not right now anyway. You just kind of go into it during instanced quests and dungeons and stuff.
Interesting.
Very cool, though. I'm excited to see what this new expansion is going to come out with, and I can't wait to become a dancer and just dance my life away.
Do it, broski.
I think it's a cool.
Is it a support class in this?
It's a long range DPS. It has chakrams that it throws at people. Which a lot of people were saddened by because we haven't had a healer class or a new support class in a very long time. We thought this would be the perfect opportunity because Dancer is Dancer. They also just had like a lot of question and answer series with the new letters from the producer. One of which, and I cannot make this up, one of the reporters actually asked, will the male dancers dance sexily as well?
Absolutely. So. Who do you think we are?
We're like, what?
We're squeenies. All of our men are sexy.
So yes, the answer was yes. They will dance sexily.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I love this game so much. So I'll probably soak a couple more million years into this as well. But also, I just finished the last season of Sword Art Online, which was very, very good. I don't know if anybody's still watching it right now at this point. I'm sure people are already kind of de-franchised by it or whatever, but like, it's good. Do it.
Okay. Will do.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch it. Like, I watched Gun Gale online, and that was really good.
Gun Gale Online's good.
And so yeah, I've heard lots of good stuff about the new season.
Is Kirito in Gun Gale Online?
He is.
No.
Oh no, not an alternative. Not an alternative. Sorry, no. The alternative's good, but there's in Sword Art Online 2, he goes to Gun Gale Online.
Well, yeah, no, I know that, but there's an anime called Gun Gale Online.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with Kirito. In fact, it makes fun of Kirito and the whole Sword Art Online idea, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
I want nothing to do with it.
I love it so much.
Nah, it's fine. Cool. Well, thank you, gentlemen. It's been a lovely episode.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. You can find us all over the internet. The show is on YouTube. We're also on Podbean, Castbox, Stitcher Radio, and on the iTunes and the Google Podcasts and all that nonsense. Find us there. Let us know what you thought about Endgame. If you haven't already, let everyone else know and the entire internet know. You can find us on Twitter at TeamYKPod. You can also like us on Facebook or drop us an email, thosenerdsyouknowpod@gmail.com. We appreciate any correspondence from you. We thank you very much for listening. Give us a like, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, whatever it is. Share it with a friend. That really helps. We really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. My name is Ethan.
I'm Nick.
I'm Scott.
And we are those nerds you know. Bye.